Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Wednesday Live. I'm super excited to come to you today and talk about DMs. I was talking with a client the other day, and I just, it hit me on how many people really struggle with DMs and really making that transition from comments, content, and moving it over to DM to finally close a sale. So today we're going to talk about why Facebook content alone does not convert and why DMs actually do work, right? And how they can work without being salesy. So again, welcome to the live today. If you're here live, please say hi in the comments. And if you're watching the replay, you can also hit replay in the comments. But we're super happy that you're here today. Today's conversation is especially for you if you are creating content, but you're creating content consistently. You're getting likes and comments and engagement, but you're failing to see the conversion or the clients from the actions you are taking, right? And especially if you're feeling a little bit resistant, awkward, or unsure about DMing people who engage, this is for you. And I want to say this up front for you and just make sure that this is really clear that this is not a training on how to be salesy, right? This is a training on how humans actually make decisions online. Because once you really understand the psychology behind it, the resistance usually melts away. So this live is not for you guys to go DM everyone in your inbox, go pitch in inboxes, or make people feel pressured into buying things, okay? This live is about understanding how online sales psychology actually works, what Facebook content is actually designed to do, and why DMs are not a tactic, they are a missing step in your trust building process. If DMing feels heavy or misaligned, it really usually comes down to it either being taught wrong or not understanding the process behind it and the psychology behind it. So let's start about how decisions are made, because if you understand this part, Facebook DMing suddenly makes sense to you. People really decide emotionally first, right? Every buying decision starts with that emotion, which is relief or hope or confidence, safety, belonging. But logic comes after the emotional decision, right? And that's why someone can logically know that they need help but still not move forward. It's because they just don't feel safe enough yet to do so. Online, the brain is constantly scanning for, am I going to look stupid? Am I going to regret this? Am I being pressured? Or am I making a mistake, right? And this is why people really hesitate when they go public. It's not because they're uninterested. It's not because they don't want to talk to you, right? It's because they are protecting themselves, right? So the faster, though, that someone feels safe, the faster they are able to decide on that next step. So safety comes from different things like being seen, feeling understood, feeling like there's no pressure behind it, and having a space where they can just ask questions, right? Pressure really slows down the process and to decisions, but safety speeds it up. Keep that in mind as we move forward into the specifics of Facebook DMing, okay? So how does this show up on Facebook? It's really important that you reframe this if you need to. So say this with me if you need. Facebook posts create awareness. DMs and live events create trust. And trust creates decisions. So Facebook posts are not designed to close your sales, right? They are just designed to start the conversations. Now, engagement is not a passive thing, okay? When someone engages, likes your post, comments on your post, reacts, watches your stories, they're not just scrolling. They're actually saying, I resonate, I see myself in this, I am open. And each one of these are little micro yeses. Responding to this is not an interruption for them, it's actually a continuation of the conversation that they're trying to start. So, why do public feeds not convert, right? It's because people don't want to admit their struggles publicly, right? They want to ask buying questions, but they don't want to do it in the comments. They don't want to reveal uncertainty in front of their peers, right? They need to have a space where they feel safe enough to do so. Public spaces really trigger self-protection and makes you want to hide. So private conversations really lower the social risk, the ego threat, or the fear of judgment. This is why DMs convert better than just content alone. And it's not because you're selling, it's because people can finally be honest with you. So moving on to why content alone does not do the job, okay? So content is a one-way street, but decision making really requires a two-way interaction. The brain needs clarification, reflection, and dialogue. And without that conversation, people really stay interested but inactive, right? Because they're not feeling the safety yet. That is not a content problem. It really is a missing conversation problem. So many people, like I said at the beginning, feel resistance when it comes to using DMs. And I'll be completely honest, I did too at the beginning, right? But this is where I see most people getting stuck, really, is in this DM process. And they say things to me like, I don't want to be salesy. I want people to come to me. I do not want to bother people, right? But here's the truth. The truth really is that ethical DMing is not about pitching. It's all about listening. And a good DM will ask you questions, reflect what someone said, or create clarity for you, as well as lets the other person decide whether or not they want to continue that conversation. So you are not convincing anyone. You're just giving them that safe space that we've been talking about to think out loud. And that is so important. People don't want to feel pegged into a situation. So you need to allow them to open up in the conversation, and that's the only way they can do it. Now, waiting for people to ask does not work, right? Because most people will not reach out even when they want help. They're gonna fear rejection, or they're gonna doubt the timing. They assume they're not ready. They don't understand if your offer is for them, or they might not understand exactly what you do. And they do not want to bother you, right? So a warm DM really helps remove that friction and gives them the permission they need to move forward in the conversation. Now, I want to talk about ethical DMing versus spamming, because this is what we're really not doing, right? And this is what most people are afraid of crossing that line. So let me make this clear. Spamming DM is cold, assumptive, pitch first, scripted, and detached, right? There's no warmth to it. It usually comes immediately instead of, being human first. But ethical DMing really helps it's triggered by engagement, right? It's triggered by curiosity. It's permission-based. It's human, and it's really pressure-free. The intent is the difference. DMs are not where you sell. They are where people feel safe enough to decide. So here's what I want you to remember from this. If you're creating content but not having conversations, you are doing half of the system. Content really opens the door, conversation builds the trust, and trust creates the decisions. DMing is not pushy when it's human. It really is a sign of being respectful of how we operate as humans and how our brains operate. And if this has helped you really reframe your DMs today, I want you to let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you, see if this resonated. Also, would you like more content like this? I can do some more content, so just let me know down in the comments. And if you want support learning how to do this in the way that feels aligned, calm, natural, that is one of the aspects we cover in our upcoming client attraction sprint. So if that interests you, it's at the end of January, starting on the 26th. And I just want you to drop in the comments sprint, and we'll follow up with you and just get you the details. Anyways, that is our training for today. I will talk to you soon. Bye for now.